So another one bites the dust. This store, this Ace Hardware, wasn't here very long, probably a few years, maybe 5 years maximum. Obviously still looks fairly new. Parking lot is dead. Take a look at the doors. There are no doors. This went out a few months ago. So I guess everybody's just ordering all their hardware online apparently, because stores like this are going out of business. More Lowe's going out of business. You're going to see Home Depot's going out of business. Ace Hardware is going out of business. And a lot of this isn't because of the internet. It's because of what's happening in this economy. So I put this one on a video quite a while ago. It was one of these dollar stores, and you got to really ask yourself how bad things are getting when dollar stores are going out of business. This is a large store. It's probably around 20,000 square feet, 15 to 20,000 square feet easily. Here's another real big one. I filmed this one probably about a year ago. As you can see, nothing has changed. Nobody's coming in, renovating these huge buildings. Nobody's moving in. It's bare parking lot. Seeing a lot more of this popping up in parts of Southern California. Yeah, this is what parts of Southern California are looking like, even out here in the desert. Homeless people. The homeless epidemic is at an epidemic proportion here now in the desert. So more stuff here at the old Jiffy Lube or whatever it was. People just using this as a shelter now, basically. Look at this. It used to be a Burlington coat factory. Humongous building, completely vacant. So again, another telltale sign of things to come. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I shot this building probably around a year ago. It's still vacant. They've got these cement piles all over the parking lot because they don't want a homeless camp to show up here. They don't want homeless people sleeping in their cars in the parking lots here. They don't want RVs and vans and all that showing up. So we've got these concrete pillars here staged all over the parking lot here because they don't want this to become a homeless camp. So huge building, probably at least 100,000 square feet. It's been sitting vacant for years. You tell me how good this economy really is. This whole side of the building is vacant. I'm in Rancho Mirage, California now. This looks to be somebody's home, possibly somebody's probably living in this car. They might be working at a job or panhandling right now, but this car's been here, it looks like, for a while. It's parked under a tree. I don't want to get too close to it, but it looks empty, but blankets and towels and things like that. So somebody's probably using this as their primary residence right now as they're out panhandling or working or doing whatever they have to do to eat and survive. But you know, when you start looking around what's going on, you're going to see things like this: vacant buildings, cars parked, people living out of their cars in nice areas. So I don't know what happened to the Desert Clinic Pain Institute. They might have moved, but they left a very, very big building behind. So somebody is sitting on a vacant property here that is producing no income. So this is a real crying shame what's behind me. As I'm running errands today, shooting some video for you guys, I figured I'd treat myself to a nice lunch, stop at Fat Burger. Lo and behold, they're closed. There's the sign above my head, it's gone. Doors locked, they have vacated the premises. So we're not only seeing this epidemic in the retail sector, but now are we going to start seeing more in these restaurants, in some of these restaurant chains? This is unbelievable. So this Fat Burger now in Palm Desert, California is gone. And again, it's just another symptom of what's happening, another canary in the coal mine. So it is official. The Sears here in Palm Desert, California, Westfield Shopping Mall is closing. I believe this store will be gone around the end of February, February 20th. And this is going to do massive amounts of damage to this Westfield shopping mall here in Palm Desert. And again, you can blame it on the internet, e-commerce, which absolutely had some effect on it. You can blame it on massive amounts of debt. You can blame it on a slowing US economy, a slowing global economy. There's a lot of dynamics taking place here, but at the end of the day, it is another vacant building and another telltale sign of what is happening here to the economy of the United States of America and what is going to be continuing to happen to your economy here in the United States of America. This stuff is quite literally an epidemic now. Stores, whether they be high-end, low-end, in the middle, are not immune from being a casualty. But I really feel sorry for the small stores in this mall, which have been obliterated over the last couple of years. This is not going to help. There's a JCPenney's on the other side here. It's hanging on by a thread. A couple other stores, big retail chains, big stores in here that are already indicating that they're going to be closing massive amounts of stores in the US. Some of those stores are in this mall. And so this mall probably has less than 2 years of time before the entire mall just closes. These investment companies that own these malls or these stores in these malls, when they're not producing income or they lose a giant anchor store like a Sears or a JCPenney's, or a Macy's, that's going to affect their business immensely. And so again, whether it's a bank, an investment company who's holding this real estate, somebody is going to feel the pain. The city is going to feel the pain because they're not going to get the tax revenue. So it's a huge mess. And we have not even turned the corner with this economy yet. People are still under the illusion that everything is going well, but I have news for them. Take a look around. I'm looking around, and what I see is not positive. So another one bites the dust. GameStop closing in 4 days. You know, it is really, really sad to see what is happening to this economy, to retail, to real estate, to jobs. And what we're witnessing is nothing compared to what is coming. Look, these are still the good times. Wait till this correction takes place. Wait till we officially get to the bad times. You are going to witness the new Great Depression. It's Sunday, January 19th, 2020. So I wanted to take a few minutes today, shoot a little video for everyone out there, because a lot of people have been writing in the comments, sharing with us what's happening in their areas, what's happening in their states. And a lot of people have written in that they're seeing layoffs, they're seeing a lot of homeless, they're seeing a lot of store closures, restaurant closures, and things of that sort. And so I wanted to shoot some video today, show you what's happening in my area here in Riverside County, California, to be more specific, the Palm Springs, Palm Desert, Rancho, Mirage area. And what I'm seeing is a contrast to what I'm being told on the television by the business analysts, from what the stock market is telling us. We have a real contrast here, or a contradiction, because the real economy in my area seems to be struggling. More businesses closing up, more restaurants closing up. I see a lot more homeless. And so there is a big contradiction here on what the media, what our politicians, and what the stock market are telling us compared to what I'm seeing in the real world. And that's exactly what many of you have been writing in. You know, I believe that this country is on borrowed time. I believe that we're in very uncharted water here. I believe we're in a very dangerous time here, and that there is no turning back. You know, just look at the stock market for a minute. Just step back and take a look at it. Who are the biggest buyers in the US stock market? It's corporations who are doing corporate buybacks, buying their own stock and propping up the price of their stock, and in return propping up and manipulating the stock market. Who's the other big buyer in the stock market? It's the Federal Reserve, which is in these markets, buying stocks, buying debt, injecting billions of dollars into the repo markets, juicing liquidity into our banks. Now I'm reading that they're buying into hedge funds, quite possibly buying into foreign banks. There's people that in the media now believing that this Federal Reserve here in the U.S. could be keeping Deutsche Bank alive. So the problem here is we have no idea what this Fed is doing. It's so private, it's so secret, so many deals being done, in the dark, and the American people are oblivious to what's happening. And I believe many people don't even want to know what's happening. But, ask yourself, what's going to propel stocks when the sentiment reverses and margin trades begin dumping? Ask yourself right now, who's buying U.S. debt? I'll tell you who's buying U.S. debt. It's the U.S. Federal Reserve, the most powerful central bank in the world. That's who's buying U.S. debt now. And how long can the Fed continue to buy U.S. debt? Now, going back to what I was showing you earlier today with some of these clips, there was an article on mybudget.com, and as you see more and more restaurants folding, more and more retailers closing, less people shopping online. As we see more of that happening, as more people begin to possibly lose jobs, as the credit cards start running out, what's going to happen when we actually have a real downturn here in America, when they can no longer prop everything up? Let's look at some debt right now, according to this article. Mortgages, student loan debt, auto loan, personal loans, government debt, corporate debt, and that's not even touching unfunded liabilities or unfunded pensions. We have massive, massive amounts of debt here. And for the people out there who think everything is so good, if everything is so good, how come the average American continues to be flooded with debt? How come this country is flooded with debt? How come corporations are flooded with debt? Households are flooded with debt? Pension funds are going unfunded. If everything is so good, how come we're not seeing any of this being corrected? It's getting worse. Wolfstreet.com today, very good article. Brick and mortar melts down in the UK. And this is another interesting article now talking about what's happening in the UK, very similar to what's happening here. A total of 117,000 retail jobs were lost in 2019, with 14,500 store closures in 2019, even worse than what's happening here. Credit card balances have multiplied by a factor of 4 in the last 7 years in the UK. Many just cannot borrow any more. And the retail sector is reflecting that because so many brick and mortar stores are closing. Even with online sales, total retail has fallen 1.6% from the peak of 2019. Now, it did etch out a year-over-year gain of 1.5%, but we talk about booming economies, everything's okay, and they did etch out 1.5%. But if you take the credit cards away, where do you think that would be? The bottom line is this. We are not seeing growth globally. We are seeing a massive slowdown. We're not seeing an expansion of stores. We're seeing closures. And people can blame everything on, e-commerce and Amazon, but that makes up, a small fragment of retail. We still need retail brick and mortar stores. If we go back and just say, well, we're just going to buy everything online, then you got to ask yourself, what's going to happen to all this vacant real estate? What is all this vacant real estate going to do to the prices in your cities, in your states? What is all this vacant real estate going to do to the investment companies and the banks who own them? And what are all these people who once worked in retail now going to do for work? And we all know that AI, robotics, technology are going to be replacing so many jobs. And now we have all these people working in retail gone, more vacant real estate popping up. This is going to bring the property prices of commercial space way down. And I think we're going to see a tsunami of retail or commercial real estate flood the U.S. market and probably the U.K. also. I'm not that familiar with what's happening in their real estate market, but I can tell you right now, when you have massive amounts of vacancies, whether that's residential, commercial, it's going to affect prices. And how's it going to affect prices? They're going to come way down, and that's exactly what's coming. We're going to see a commercial real estate tsunami coming to America, and we all know that we're sitting on a residential commercial bubble. And when it bursts, you're looking at residential, commercial, going to be a nightmare what's coming. Again, making 2008 look like romper room. Retail carnage continues. Bose, Bose stereos, Bose speakers, lays off hundreds and shutters all retail stores. The company plans on closing its entire retail footprint in North America, Europe, and Japan, and Australia. This adds up to 119 stores total. Closures are slated to happen over the next few months. So more people losing their jobs and more vacant real estate coming. Everything will be purchased through e-commerce. Bose says this is bad news for the employees. Shopping malls, many of Bose stores are in shopping malls, and as you saw earlier, the Sears store in my area will be closing in February, big anchor store, and you're going to have small stores like Bose and whatnot closing in these malls. Malls are just going to be decimated here in America, and they have been over the last few years for sure. Mall vacancies are hitting 2-decade highs. Bose did say 130 stores will remain open in Greater China and the United Arab Emirates. Manhattan skyscrapers are empty. Another bellwether. Half of the luxury condo units that have come on the market in the last 5 years in the Manhattan area are still vacant. This is in the Atlantic. In Manhattan, the homeless shelters are full and the luxury skyscrapers are vacant. Developers bet huge on foreign plutocrats, Russian oligarchs, Chinese moguls, Saudi royalty, looking to buy 2nd, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th homes here in the Manhattan area. Global slowdown, declining Chinese economy, oil prices declining, and new developers sit on millions of dollars of real estate now in Manhattan. The middle class can't afford to live in the New York City area. Get this, 300 residents a day are leaving New York City. They're getting priced out. And so now they built all these massive skyscrapers. These developers came in, multi-million-dollar condos. There's no buyers. And, that's happening here in Los Angeles when they were building these mega mansions, 30, 40, 50, $100 million mansions in Los Angeles, Beverly Hills area. And the global slowdown is starting to rear its ugly head. And what are these developers going to do? What about the banks that lent these millions of dollars on these multi-million dollar condos, these multi-million dollar homes in Los Angeles? Every day that goes by, money is being burnt up. We have seen a massive surge in luxury home building. As I said, mega mansions in LA, New York, San Francisco, etc. What is going to happen to these properties, to these builders, developers, and banks that built these properties when the buyers do not show up? We are going to see not just a massive correction in the stock market, we are going to see a massive correction take place here in the real estate market. And just like there are not going to be buyers in the stock market because everybody is going to be running for the exits, there will be no buyers. And there are going to be no buyers when this real estate bubble pops. Very, very few buyers. But this is the time you want to become a buyer, is when these bubbles burst, when this meltdown takes place. This is the time you want to be buying into the stock market. This is the time you want to be buying into the real estate market. It's just nuts to think anybody that would buy real estate in the biggest real estate bubble the world has ever seen right now. I think that's the last asset you want to be buying on planet Earth, is real estate, stocks, and bonds. I'm going to leave it right there today. These are very scary times in America. You can call it doom and gloom, you can call it fear, you can call it whatever you want, but I'm going to call it what's really happening here in America. We are on the brink of a financial collapse, a social collapse, and a political collapse right here in America. And I believe we've already had a spiritual collapse. And if people don't wake up and get out of these comas, stop watching football and drinking their beer and playing video games, if people don't get their priorities straight and start looking at what's happening in this country, we are going to lose this country. These are scary times, no doubt. I'm very worried about what is happening here in America, what is going to happen. And if people don't wake up and get involved, this country is in big trouble. And your way of life is going to change abruptly. Your kids and your grandkids are never even going to know what freedom is. All right? You've experienced freedom. You know what it is, and you know we've lost a lot of it. Do you want to lose more? Or how about this? How about we start regaining the freedom we lost? How about we do something and get involved? Let's pray to God for all those people that are in Virginia right now, those people that are going to be there marching, doing whatever they're going to do tomorrow. Let's pray that these people are kept safe. And let's pray that this government and these politicians see that America is not going to just fold and turn over, that there are people here that are going to stand up for their rights, their freedom in this country, that people aren't just going to fall over, that we got good people here that believe in this country, that are going to stand up for it and not just go away and let it fall. God bless every one of you. Pray for these people tomorrow in Virginia. God bless every one of you. And there's a lot coming in 2020. Prepare.